looking to keep their majorities despite those polls showing them underwater with female likely voters. And headlines like this from the Associated Press aimed at the president. Horseface, does it matter that Trump ridicules women? Lara Trump is crisscrossing the nation campaigning for President Trump, father of her husband Eric, and a lot of other important races out there. Laura, thanks for taking out time to visit with us.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Obviously, the president's gotten a lot of attention for his back and forth with Stormy Daniels this week. The Washington Post says this: despite multiple polls showing that the GOP is doing poorly with women overall and that the party's losing some of the female voters who supported Trump in 2016, the president has continued to say things that many predict will keep women from voting for Republicans in the November midterm election. How do you respond to that concern?
Well, I have to tell you, Shannon, I was in North Carolina yesterday, and the number of women that turned out at all the places that I went, all the events supporting the president, supporting these midterm candidates, it was, I mean, pretty amazing. It's sad a little bit that the media tends to focus on this sort of thing instead of what the president has done, instead of the reason that people are going to vote for him again in 2020. And I think more people will vote for him in 2020 than even did in 2016. You know, women in this country want to know the country's headed in the right direction. They want to know that their children are being taken care of, that the future is good for them, that this country is safer. And under Donald Trump, they can say that all those things are true. The economy is booming. Many times people have money now to send their children to college, possibly, that they didn't before. Those are all things that I think women care about a lot more than tweets from the president.
What do you think, though, of these polls that show an 18-point deficit among the gender gap there for Republicans with women? Do you think the message is not getting through to some people, or do you think it is being overshadowed in some respects by these tweets and this back and forth?
Well, I've never believed polls. We saw the polls in 2016 were not accurate at all. I still think that carries over now a bit. And I'll tell you, after what I like to call the Kavanaugh effect, honestly, after the Kavanaugh confirmation, the number of women that I think are more inspired on the Republican end now to get out and vote is really astonishing. I found women coming up to me telling me how frustrated they were with that, how much it makes them want to go out and vote for Republicans. I don't know that those polls are accurately reflecting the sentiments of women in this country.
All right, polls aside, here's the woman who was Speaker of the House, hopes to be Speaker of the House again, House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi.
If the election were today, we would win the majority. I don't know how much water would be involved, but I know we would win the majority. Wave or tsunami, we'll see in 3 weeks.
All right, she says if the election was now, it would be a blue wave or a blue tsunami. Based on what you're seeing, factoring in the polls, how right do you think she is?
I'm going to hope that she's really wrong, and I think that we're going to all have to wait and see. But I will tell you, everywhere that I've traveled, the number of women that are coming out that are not just excited to vote in the midterms, but that are volunteering, that are working the polls. My mom is actually working the polls in North Carolina. It's pretty incredible. So I think that women are excited. The men are equally as excited across this country. And I think Republicans as a whole are galvanized and unified. And if for no other reason than because the Democrats are acting so crazy that people in the Republican Party are now coming together saying, hey, we can't allow this to overtake our country. If we have a Speaker Nancy Pelosi or a Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, that is going to spell disaster for this country. The president's agenda will not get accomplished. Everything we've seen positive happen in this country under President Donald Trump will come to a screeching halt. And I think people understand that they're going to try and impeach him, and all the forward progress will stop. So I think people understand that it is so important to get out and vote in these midterms.
What about this conversation about civility now, because we see that there are suggestions to get in people's faces, to go find them in public. We see it happening, and then there are people agitating on social media. Make sure that you get out there. I don't know if it happens to you guys. I mean, it's pretty widespread, but there are those who will say the president started this by encouraging name calling, by encouraging people to get rough with protesters at his rallies. What do you make of this conversation?
Well, I think that's a little ridiculous. I actually think that the Republicans are the party of jobs and the Democrats are the party of mobs. And I will tell you that it is disgusting that there is anyone calling for violence or anything as aggressive as what we've seen come out of some Democrat leaders' mouths. You've heard Maxine Waters calling for this stuff, and it's happening happened to so many people. It's disgusting. This is not America. We are all Americans. We can disagree and we can be civil about it. And all I will say is that you have not seen all of that nonsense coming from the Republican side. It only comes from the Democrats.
Well, we like to see bipartisanship wherever we can find it. Laura, we know you're headed back out on the campaign trail. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Thank you.